Are you struggling with your grades? Do you think you're just not as straight a student? Is the only way to get an A is to sacrifice your social life and work harder and longer? Well, college professor and productivity expert Cal Newport in his book disagrees with this last point, and provides research-based proof along with unconventional strategies and tips that anyone can implement to excel in studying anything really, and not just in school, even if you consider yourself to be a lazy student. This video summarizes the whole book in a way to fit the fast and distracted world of today, because college now and even Gen Z students are different. Unlike most studying books, this one gives practical steps to start implementing right away. So what should you start with? The world's biggest phenomenon today is the fast decrease in attention span levels, with loads of content at the palm of our hands. It's almost impossible to focus for 40 straight seconds without getting distracted. This is the #1 reason people are not winning at school and in life. Focus, and this is exactly what Newport is helping you combat throughout this whole book. He explains that the key is focusing intently. Most students aren't intensely focused when they study, rather their attention wanders towards other things, like the cute girl in the library, or the TV in the background. However, if you actively focus on your studies, you get much more done, and can finish studying much faster. But on a college campus, full of distractions, how do you focus on what matters, and what should you do during these focused spurts? The author first discusses how to focus by planning your day effectively, and actually working when you say you will, then tells us what to focus on. In other words, the step-by-step study systems for getting good grades on your tests and papers. Newport's emphasis on the importance of focusing intently to do well in college is reminiscent of the idea of deep work. Deep work is defined as focused work on a task that pushes your cognitive abilities to their limit and helps you be 10x more productive in less time. So here's what to do first to win the battle for your focus. Take control of your schedule by planning your day, beating procrastination, and knowing what to focus on. 1. Plan your day without a plan. Incomplete tasks constantly distract your brain, hindering your ability to fully concentrate on assignments. However, with a plan, you can prioritize the task at hand. Whether it's editing a paper or enjoying lunch with a friend, it frees up brain power by countering the Zeigarnik effect, where incomplete tasks linger in the memory. Creating a concrete plan for task completion signals to your brain that they no longer require mental space. Allowing for more important matters to follow Newport's cyclical system, carry a list with 2 columns, schedule and to remember. Step 1. Update your calendar each morning by transferring tasks from the to remember column to designated time slots on your calendar. Step 2. Write your schedule in the schedule column, prioritizing non-negotiable commitments and allocating time slots for tasks based on your calendar. Study sessions before dinner are recommended. Take short breaks every hour of work to maintain efficiency. Step 3. Adjust your schedule when necessary, making changes to accommodate unexpected events or invitations. Step 4. Continuously add new tasks or commitments to the to remember column throughout the day, ensuring they are scheduled during the next morning's update to plan effectively. Newport offers a method suited for the dynamic schedules of college students, utilizing a calendar and a list. P.S. This can also be easily applied using your smartphone. 2. How to study when you say you will. Scheduling your study sessions won't help you get good grades if you procrastinate when you're supposed to be studying. So how do you stop putting your work off? Take care of your body by staying hydrated and eating regular energizing meals and snacks. Schedule recurring study sessions during consistent free hours each weekday to develop a habit and reduce procrastination. Plan ahead for demanding weeks by scheduling work-intensive days well in advance, allowing for breaks and conserving mental energy, and try to share your workload plans with friends to create social pressure and accountability. Also, using a procrastination tracker alongside your calendar to write down high-priority tasks, track completion, and reflect on reasons for procrastination is also effective, since this creates awareness and motivation to avoid delaying tasks. For example, If you've put off a task for a shoddy reason like that, you wanted to watch Netflix, instead seeing that reason on paper will highlight its shoddiness in a way that merely thinking about it doesn't, and will thus make you feel bad you've learned when to study. But how should you study specifically? How do you ensure that you do well on every quiz and test? It starts way outside of the test exam period. The author recommends attending all lectures throughout the whole year, as opposed to the popular student opinion, also studying and accomplishing tiny chunks of assignments every day, as opposed to waiting until they're close to the deadline. You should also realize that there are two major and different types of classes. You're gonna take humanities and STEM subjects, which require different studying approaches. If you want to ace your humanity tests, you must understand the overarching themes of the class, and you do that by taking smart notes during lectures, using the question/evidence/conclusion, Q/E/C method. When taking notes, every main theme can be broken down into a question, its evidence, and the conclusion. Therefore, your lecture notes should also be formatted. So, they include the professor's question as her conclusions and any supporting evidence for each conclusion. Another key element is to prioritize the right reading because you can't feasibly complete all the texts most humanities courses assign to prioritize correctly. Do all the reading from the main texts. These will appear multiple times on your syllabus. Take relatively detailed notes on these readings, using the Q/E/C method. Remembering that the conclusion or main point of a text is usually its thesis. And if you want to ace your STEM tests, you must understand how to solve problems. As most STEM courses don't require you to understand overarching themes. Rather, you need to master the problem-solving techniques and formulas presented, so you can apply them to your own work. The first step is to skip the reading because your professor will describe those exact techniques to you during class. Instead, bring the reading to class to help you follow the lecture and only review the text in depth. If you're still lost after the lecture, you need to work efficiently on your problem sets. To do so, first space out your problems. Select a few to try solving each day. And if you can't go about your day while mulling over them occasionally, eventually inspiration will strike and you'll come up with a solution. Second, Newport suggests that you work with others. If you're still stuck, you now know how to study throughout the semester, so that you're prepared for your tests. But how should you study for tests? Once they're announced, 1. Gather your study materials, organizing them by topic. Create practice quizzes for social studies classes, using your notes for STEM courses. Collect problem sets and sample problems, and generate questions to explain key topics. 2. Revise your materials by spacing out your study days to avoid mental fatigue. Test yourself in sets, answering all the questions in your study guide. Take breaks. Then focus on the difficult problems marked with checkmarks. 3. Clear up any remaining confusion by asking for help from professors and classmates. Gain a basic understanding of concepts you are unfamiliar with, to prevent them from impacting your performance on the exam. Once during the test, read all the questions at the beginning to understand the exam's nature, deduct 10 minutes from the total time, and divide the rest by the number of questions to determine time allocation per question. Answer questions starting from the easiest to the hardest. Secure points for the known answers before tackling challenging ones. Monitor the time and move on. If stuck on a question for too long, use any remaining time to review and improve your answers, ensuring a polished submission. In addition to exams, essays often make up a large portion of your grades in college. So how do you write an essay that's thoughtful and engaging without spending days suffering in the library? 1. Choose an area of interest by paying attention to cues from your professor or texts. Seek your professor's guidance for recommended sources. After that, it's easier to identify a thesis in a promising area of research, and don't forget to reference encyclopedic sources and explore their bibliographies for specific sources related to your thesis. 2. Share your thesis with your professor for approval, and seek suggestions for sources and arguments. 3. Create a list of essential and useful topics related to your thesis. conduct research by finding relevant sources and taking notes, and ensure you have sufficient sources for each topic. 4. Develop an outline, considering the points you want to discuss, and including quotes from your sources as evidence. Review the outline with your professor or classmates for feedback. 5. Write your paper in an isolated and focused environment, ideally on a separate day from outlining or editing. Then finally edit your paper in 3 rounds. Review the logic and rearrange sections if necessary. Read it aloud to catch errors, and do a final check on the day of submission. Following these steps will help you craft a well-researched and organized essay, worthy of top grades, as Newport notes. In addition to long papers that require original research, many of your courses will require what he calls critical analysis essays. These papers are usually 2 to 3 pages, and involve a specific prompt that asks you to analyze the arguments in your assigned texts, such as compare and contrast. What authors X and Y say about topic Z. The step-by-step process for writing a critical analysis essay is basically a shorter version of the process for writing a paper that requires original research. Since you won't need to select an area of interest, you'll skip that step and instead start by finding your thesis, which involves reviewing the assigned reading and relevant lecture notes to determine how you'll answer the prompt. After that, the steps are the same with this system. You'll be able to churn out your essays with ease and get good grades doing it, claims our author. And there you have it, friends. The ultimate guide to becoming a straight A student, without sacrificing your social life or working longer hours. Cal Newport's book is a game changer, providing unconventional strategies and research-backed techniques that anyone can use to excel in their studies. Key takeaways from this video must be the emphasis on the power of deep work and intense focus to boost productivity. Also, by taking control of your schedule, beating procrastination, and implementing effective study systems, you can ace your tests and papers. So with this, I urge you to 1. Say goodbye to mediocre grades, and hello to academic success, and 2. To give the video a thumbs up and subscribe, because there are more awesome book summaries coming your way. Heads up.